Chaitra? Dr. Anand? Anyway, we have Dr. Santosh over here, who has one of the maximum peer-reviewed publications in our country, and we are proud of him, and we want him next to the speaker. Thank you, Santosh, and I apologize for the lunchtime. Not many people are here, but...
You don't have to apologize. That's their priority. Thank you for having me here, and I congratulate IGO on its Diamond Jubilee. I don't know who to talk to because you're all serious publishers and consummate authors, so this is very basic. This I thought would be useful for residents. Online resources for review of literature. Internet, actually, you must have come to know from the previous couple of talks that Internet provides seamless knowledge. But exactly because of that, it's a double-edged sword. There is a lot of garbage in there, and you, as a beginner, I mean, if somebody is a beginner, you won't really know what to look for and what to take as authentic from an Internet search. But generally, you should go for a well-moderated and a reviewed source, preferably run by an organization of repute, and that's where, you know, if you stick to such sources, it's most likely that you would get through authentic information. And when you want to find references, what are the best or what is considered quality in terms of references? My laptop is stuck.
Can you help the presentation?
Okay. Did you lock something?
This slide, this one.
You go to this.
Okay. Dr. Santan, you can join here. Dr. Santan is Associate Editor of the Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. No problem, I know. Met Vishanti. Dr. Santan is Associate.
I have another session quickly in half year.
I'm chairing a session. All day.
Okay, when you look at this, you would realize that there are two categories of information that are available. Primary categories, primary and secondary. Primary are peer-reviewed journal articles, and secondary are not peer-reviewed. Again, it is stuck. I'm sorry. Can we have the next presentation first, and then I do this?
No, I think you are the last.
I'm the last.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but no problem. Can you just help him? What's the problem? In the meantime, Santan, I know you come late. You can.
It's okay. I'll manage with this.
Okay.
Yeah. In primary peer-reviewed sources, there are again three categories. Primary would be original research, secondary would be review articles, and tertiary are generally textbooks and summaries. In original research, you see from this that randomized controlled trials are the best. Randomized controlled trials are at the top of the pyramid. That are followed by observational studies, which could be retrospective case series, and clinical observations, short case series and such are at the bottom of the pyramid. So if you want to know which is the gold standard for literature or evidence, that would of course be randomized controlled trial. So when you're looking for literature in support of your concept, or when you're looking for truth, then it is always good to go for randomized controlled trials and consider them as the gold standard of literature. When you look at secondary peer-reviewed sources, again there is a pyramid of evidence. Meta-analysis come on top. a very well done meta-analysis gathering data from several sources is considered the best among secondary peer-reviewed sources, followed by systematic review. Systematic reviews are, for example, somebody reviewing the entire literature on neovascular glaucoma and coming up with conclusions based on that kind of a review. It doesn't talk about too much of data, but meta-analysis actually goes into the primary data, goes after the source of primary data, collects and reanalyzes all the primary data and comes up with justified conclusions. Narrative reviews are at the bottom of the pyramid. They don't go after data as much, they generalize a lot and they give you a gist of information that is available from all the sources that are present at that particular time of review. Now, when you want to search for literature, it is all very confusing. You don't know where to begin and where to end. And if you organize yourself according to this particular flowchart, for example, you define what exactly you want to search, have primary concepts already in mind, and based on the primary concept, you go after certain keywords. Example, if you're looking at cataract and glaucoma and their relationship, cataract and glaucoma are your keywords, which you can use together or exclusively, or in several combinations. Similarly, you have to have a set of keywords and then devise your search strategy and go in for database searching. The primary step in literature review is database searching. You look at a particular very highly established database and then go on to the source of information, that is the journal itself or the original article that has been published. One good way is to look at the bibliographic information of a similar article that has been recently published, considering or assuming that the author has done enough homework or the publisher has done enough homework before that particular article got published. So you would get a list of references used by a particular article, and if your article is somewhat similar in concept or on the same subject and that article is recently published, you can use that bibliography as your primary source of references and then expand it as required. Now, online information, we have web search engines, databases, and web libraries. In web search engines, as earlier was spoken, Google and Google Scholar come on right on top. Now, there is a huge difference between searching medical information on Google and Google Scholar. I'll show you some examples. Now, if you look at Fakey-Kayol, for example, on Google, you will get everything. Somebody's advertisements on Fakey-Kayol, patient information, everything. This is a lot of garbage. But if you're publishing an article, this is irrelevant to you. But the same keywords, when you search on, say, Google Scholar, the information that you would get would be qualitatively very, very different. You would get articles, you would get, as Vishal was mentioning, you would get it from a non-peer-reviewed source, such as a state journal or a city journal as well. But what you would get are published articles mostly. So Google Scholar is a very good place to begin with if you are a beginner, and then go on to other sources as well. Google, obviously, it will help you identify the articles, and then you could go after each one of them. The next is database. In fact, this is the gold standard of review of literature. And Medline is considered to be very high in terms of authenticity, in terms of databases. PubMed, Medline, or Web of Science is something that is very nice. And you can also go for Cochrane reviews if you're looking at topical reviews and evidence-based literature. You go for digital journals and also subject-specific subscription databases. Most of these are actually paid. You have to pay subscription to enter these. In PubMed, which is produced by the National Library of Medicine, it's not only used to locate journal articles, but also to get to the primary source because there are links in there. This is considered the largest and the most popular international biomedical database, and it is programmed to link to full text. And that is one good feature that will help you. PubMed is a composite of 6,000 biomedical peer-reviewed journals. It is a replacement for old Index Medicus database or an extension of the same, and it is managed by the National Library of Medicine. Dates back to 1965. Now let's look at how to search in PubMed. When you start searching at PubMed, it is sometimes very time consuming if you don't know how to use the keywords and the fields very effectively. There are several fields that you would find in PubMed. There is actually a built-in PubMed tutorial which you can take if you're a beginner to PubMed. Otherwise, you could go by intuition. When you go by intuition, you have to use your own keywords. This is based on simple or natural language. Suppose you are looking at neovascular glaucoma, you use glaucoma and neovascular as the keywords, as intuitive as that. That will give you a lot of information. I just show you, for example, if you don't use truncation, wildcards and other indices of search, or don't use keywords such as mesh and use other extension functions, you would end up with a lot of garbage. Mesh is something which is medical subject heading. Every article would have mesh keywords listed along with the publication. So if you look at a reliable published article, you'll find mesh keywords, and if your proposed article is somewhat similar to that, you could use the same mesh keywords to search. Now when you look at cataract and glaucoma, when you type those keywords, the number of references that you would get are enormous. You would get 70,000 odd references, which is not good because you can't obviously scan out all these references through search these out. Okay, but if you use Boolean operators such as and, or, not, parenthesis, asterisk, and even quotes, for example, cataract and glaucoma, and exclude certain terms such as traumatic or steroid-induced, then you would end up with very specialized search results. If you use both cataract and glaucoma, the database would actually search everything about glaucoma and everything about cataract, and not just the overlap. But when you use cataract and glaucoma and cataract, then you would only get those references where both glaucoma and cataract are mentioned together. So this is a Venn diagram which shows that only this particular overlap can be elucidated if you use a keyword and in between. This is how many references that you would get. In fact, 10% of what you would have got if you were to use both cataract and glaucoma. Now, if you were to exclude, say if you were to say glaucoma and cataract and not traumatic or steroid-induced, then you would get glaucoma and cataract excluding those traumatic and steroid-induced. So there is a huge kind of benefit by using Boolean search characteristics. Then once you get that, obviously you can actually limit by using adults or children. If you're looking at only pediatric cataract and glaucoma, if you're doing literature search on pediatric cataracts, after which there is secondary glaucoma that develops, you can exclude adults and limit your search to a particular age group. You can even exclude many other variables by either keying in or keying out those parameters. And you can look at the abstract, and when you look at the abstract, actually you will get a hyperlink to the full text. If you're a library subscriber, it would indicate the library in which it is accessible, or it would tell you where the full text is available. Suppose a full text is available with a publisher such as Science Direct, you would get a link to that and you could go chasing it and get the full text. It would also indicate whether a particular full text article is free to access or not. This is a very useful thing because if you're looking at an abstract and readily want a full text, you can click on it and you'll be led to the website where this would be listed. Now, using one network which is part of AIOS, in terms of all the AIOS members have access to one network, you can get a bouquet of journals. Full text articles of any of these journals are free to access now for all of us. So you don't really have to depend on paid subscriptions, or you don't have to pay money to get articles from any of these top journals if you are a member of All India Ophthalmological Society by registering to the ONE network. Evidence-based medical reviews, specifically Cochrane, are extremely important in terms of providing authentic evidence-based information. So if you're looking at some information where you don't know the current evidence, then you can look at popular Cochrane reviews. Web of Science was earlier known as Science Citation Index. Now it has multidisciplinary coverage, and the unique feature is in its reference-based indexing. Talked about H-index, and one good source of knowing your H-index is to go to this particular website, Publish or Perish, and key in. This gives a relatively useful information. We also have a directory of open access journals from which you can know whether the article that you're looking for is in any open access journal or not. Apart from that, you have to manage references, and when you want to manage references, you have to use a particular software or any software that is of your choice, which can be directly incorporated into the word processing system that you use. I use EndNote, for example, which runs on Word and manages all my citations. I really don't have to keep typing back. I directly import these references from PubMed, put it on EndNote, and after that you just have to, when you're typing in a particular reference in your manuscript, just have to go to EndNote, put in that reference which is already there in your database, and also format. Suppose ophthalmology rejects my article and I want to send it to a different journal which has a different way of typing your references. The sequence may be a little different. Then you can format it using EndNote without having to retype anything. You can just indicate that, okay, this is the kind of references sequence that I want, and the entire set of references will be formatted. So take-home message is that an optimal search will combine natural language and controlled vocabulary approaches where you would get specific set of references that you would need. Judge by not what you have retrieved, but what you may have missed, so for which you have to actually chase the original source and get in as much information as that is already existent in the literature. And you have to manage your references, which is very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Santosh. I'm sure some questions or comments, and thank you very much for your... you can be there for a minute, Santosh. Anybody wants to say something or comment? Dr. Santan and Dr. Vishanji.
When you are searching for the literature, if there are literature which give contrarian views, it's quite possible to find contrarian views. In such a case, what you do is evaluate the article based on its evidence level. Take the articles which have a higher level of evidence and use them more than the articles with a lower level of evidence. You understand? You always find contrary views in any number of articles you take out. You will find one article giving not effective, another giving effective. Okay? In such a confusing situation, what you need to do is look at the level of evidence of any given article. And whichever has a higher level of evidence is more useful to take the information from. Very Santosh. What do you suggest as a researcher when you are putting down on your paper all these things?
I had earlier mentioned the level of evidence. Randomized controlled trials are considered as gold standards. And if you don't find randomized controlled trials, then you can go for larger case series or observational case series. And the lowest in terms of peer-reviewed evidence is a small case series or a case study. So if you have RCT, then that is the best.
Meta-analysis of RCT and RCT.
No, RCT is the best in terms of peer-reviewed articles, but peer-reviewed reviews, meta-analysis is considered the best, followed by a systematic review.
So, Dr. Chandran, sir, you want to say any comments, sir? Parikshit? So we have Dr. Chaitra, you want to say something? Okay. So, Anand, you don't want to say anything? Santosh, thank you very much, and I thank all the speakers and also our editorial board for doing this. But it's sad that in spite of all the the whole conference is Aijoa, and I think we have a few people here, maybe for the lunchtime. Anyhow, we have 2 more sessions in the coming 2 days, and I hope there will be enough people to attend. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Sometime? Yes, sure. We will.
I'm still in touch with Namrata and everyone.
I know. Yes. Okay, Zia is here.
I had another session at the same time.
I know.
Come on.
Come, we'll go down. Thank you. You can take it. No, I don't know. I have. I just